Okay.
But how do you feel? Because I wanted to talk about this because I totally forgot about this. So we now know that they added another match to Crown Jewel, so now it's going to be 7 matches at Crown Jewel, which I think is significant, but also not because it's Crown Jewel. I think that if any PLE card is going to be long besides WrestleMania, it's going to be Crown Jewel, and it's just because of the money involved. So I'm not surprised that they're doing 7 matches.
Yes.
So I think this is a good precursor, obviously, to what is going to happen at Survivor Series. So this is giving us a taste, and then it also can introduce us to okay, who are the new who else is going to join their teams ahead of Survivor Series. But this has become an argument online. And we can talk about this. We can talk about this tomorrow, but I kind of wanted to ask your opinion
We
today.
can tease it. We can preview. Every
Okay.
movie gets a preview.
So, because this was randomly announced and seemingly had no background to it, because obviously we're not going to see it until SmackDown, people are already debating what the main event is going to be for Crown Jewel.
Oh, I've seen this. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
gonna let you go first. I'm gonna be a gentleman.
Okay.
Ladies first.
So I'm torn because in my gut, I'm saying this shouldn't be the main event because up until now, everything has been about the champion versus champion matches. So it seemed like, okay, everything they've done, you're building it up for the main event to be Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. Doesn't matter that it's not, a championship match besides the Crown Jewel championship. People are invested in that, and I'm not saying that they're not invested in the bloodline stuff, but I think that it'll be absolutely BS if they make this the main event, which I think they're going to do anyway because it's Roman Reigns, and it's like, well, this is the bloodline storyline, it's the A story, and I get it, but I also think that's wrong because you're just adding this 5 days before the PLE. How is that fair? I hate that it seems like Roman is becoming that guy. I get that he's one of the faces of the company and blah blah blah, but I hate that it's like, well, if Roman's in it, that means that he's in the main event, and it's like, really though?
So here's my thought process with this. Any other circumstance, Roman Reigns going to be the main event, Bloodline, whatever. We already saw the news about Bad Blood and The Rock, which we can push over to the Super Show tomorrow because I want to talk about this. Crown Jewel is essentially Saudi's WrestleMania for them, the yearly event that always comes to them. And it's got so important that they have introduced their own Crown Jewel title. All right. And the way to make that a significant title, even if it isn't to us right now, Sarah, let's imagine that it is a big deal. We want to make this a big deal. Look at the presentation.
That's how they presented
it. To start Raw, you're seeing the carriers of the belts being paraded around like Lord Stanley. It's
well, they took a moment out of the PLE to introduce it and unveil it.
So the way you make that important is to make it the end of the show, the main event. It doesn't matter about the bloodline. To be honest, the bloodline should open the show. That's how you get people hot and their juice is blood flowing to make Crown Jewel a significant program. If you want to build up this title, honestly, I know it probably isn't going to happen, but it would be a better option than the bloodline main eventing. Liv and Nia. At least it's like, okay, you're building up one of the Crown Jewel women or one of the Crown Jewel titles to be in importance. I get it. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm trying to make a point here.
But it could also give people the feeling that maybe Tiffany cashes in, and that's why they're keeping, you know what I mean? Or if the men go on last, it's like, oh my God, what if, then they would understand the importance of the championship, but then it would also be like, okay, who's going to win? Because it's like, is Cody going to lose? He hasn't lost since he won, but what about Gunther? I don't know, the way they've built the PLE, like built it
Yes.
up, doesn't warrant this to be the main event in my
No.
eyes. I
If it
think
does,
we
I
know they're
will.
going to be the main event at Survivor Series. So why do they have to
Yeah.
be the main event to the show before when their match was added 5 days before, 4 days before? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I am all in on the Bloodline main eventing Survivor Series. I am more than all in on that.
Yeah.
But you can wait a show to have that happen. Honestly, having them open the show is best case scenario. Like, yeah, you probably want to do both crown jewel titles, sandwiched in the pieces of bread,
Mhm.
and then the show is the meat. Like, I get it, cool. But the bloodline, because of how it's on the rise, right? It's finally getting hot again. That is how you're going to elicit the start of a show reaction you want the fans to have.
Yeah. I just think it's not at a point where I think people care enough for it to be
No, I
the main
don't
event
care.
right now. It will be by Survivor Series, especially if The Rock shows up, if Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn are a part of it, so it's like that will
Kevin
attract it and
Owens.
make people excited for it to be the main event, but not right now.
Don't forget my dude Kevin
Yeah,
Owens.
and potentially Kevin Owens. Yeah.
My dog.
Um and also I would say, like, I traditionally am not a huge fan of big matches opening PLEs. Just because your old school brain is like the later in the show you're on, the like more main event you are. But I do think that Triple H is kind of trying to treat the first match almost like a main event.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's like the appetizer main event, and then you finally get to the like main event, main event.
Yes, the
But to
buffalo
me,
chicken nachos. Yes.
he's trying to make them feel both matches are just as important as each other, so it wouldn't I
Yeah.
don't think it would be a bad idea.